Countrymen and women, brothers and sisters, the footage you're about to watch was captured in real time during the conduct of Operation Mosig by Zambian Battalion 7 troops in Wadajale of the Central African Republic. I take this opportunity to salute all the officers and soldiers who took part in the operation, led by their battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Mwanahingombe, for their swift reaction to help the civilian population in the area return back to their homes after successfully dislodging the armed elements. The nation may wish to know that this is the second time Zambat has carried out such an audacious operation, after Zambat 5 carried out a similar operation in Birao under the command of then contingent commander, Lieutenant Colonel Teddy Tembo. The President of the Republic of Zambia and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Force, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, has since congratulated the troops for their outstanding performance. As Zambia Army, we stand ready to continue upholding the MINUSCA mandate by protecting civilians, especially women and children, in the Zambat area of operation. To this end, we remain grateful to the New Dawn government for its continued support to the Army. All the Zambian citizens must feel proud of their sons and daughters after watching the footage. God bless you all.
June 16, 2022, the information reaching Zambat headquarters in Birao says that over 100 CPC rebels are advancing to Wadajare, a small town in the distant northeastern part of the Central African Republic.
According to the information received from our sources, these CPC UPC armed elements are advancing towards Wadajare. According to the source, is indicating that they are about 10 kilometers away Wadajare. The strength is 150 to 200. Uniform, they are in assorted weaponry. They have AK-47, RPG, MMG, and hand grenades. Identification, most of them are in dead rocks. The morale of these armed elements is believed to be very high, as most of them were just recently promoted by their commander, General Ari Darasa, on 4th March 2022.
Their mission is to attack the Central African Government forces, FACA, and take over control of the town. Zambat 7 Commander Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Mwanahingombe is ordered by the UN-steered MINUSCA Top Command to establish a temporary operation base in the area in order to protect civilians.
We are coming to Wadajare with the aim of come and attack these FACA soldiers. So, you're going there to go and prevent this attack. The information is that as of yesterday, they were at the mine called the Bokchak mine. It's about 7 kilometers from Wadajare. So these who are already at that mine site, about 7 kilometers, they are just buying time for these others to come.
It is rain season, and the movement of vehicles in the Central African Republic is limited. But for the sake of civilians, Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Mwanahingombe is taking the risk he knows too well. If the troops move 165 kilometers from Birao to Wadajare, they will need military choppers to return. If they are attacked and overrun, reinforcement can only reach by air. He demands helicopters before sending out his men. Around 14 hours of the same day, his demand is met. 2 choppers will be in the base as the troops move out by road. June 17, the troops reach Wanja village after covering 120 kilometers. Wanja River is flooded after a heavy downpour and the troops will not dare to cross. Movement is halted as they wait for reinforcement led by Major Justin Mukuka. They spend 2 nights in Wanja as they wait for the water levels to go down. The mayor of the area informs Major Mukuka that the rebels attacked Wadajare, killing 2 civilians, and are at the time targeting the sub-prefect and the mayor of the town. She narrates that Faka has been overpowered in battle and all civilians have fled into the bush for safety. Returning to Bira will only be called a stupid decision. The lives of civilians are in danger and Zambian has to protect them. June 20, the patrol crosses Wanja River. After a 3 hours drive, they reach Wadajari and all they see are CPC rebels. Zambia troops gear up for possible combat. The Blue Helmet commander needs to meet the sub-prefect before any confrontation with the belligerents. Rebels are already in control of the town. They have occupied civilian homes, rampaged government offices, taken charge of the market. The sub-prefect, the mayor, and thousands of civilians are hiding in the bush. Major Mkuka questions the rebels' mission in the area. They tell him they are in Wadajari to protect civilians from Russian bilateral forces and Faka. Zambia only has a platoon in Jale, and from the look of things, rebels are even more than 200 as almost every corner of the village is occupied by them. The patrol tells them to leave. They do not accept. The patrol commander needs more troops before setting up camp in Jare. He withdraws 8 kilometers from the town to change his plan and call for reinforcement. It is at this point that he meets the mayor and the sub-prefect in the bush. It's better they kill me in the bush than returning to the village and live side by side with the rebels. In the same way, I cannot tell the population to return and live side by side with the rebels. If the rebels leave, the people will return home. June 21, the troops moved back to Wadajari to secure the airstrip for reinforcement and to set up camp at the civic center as granted by the mayor. Colonel Manahingombe sends reinforcement and other essentials as requested by the commander on the ground. As Zambia sets up camp in Jale, they discover the hospital is deserted as the doctor and other health workers are taking refuge in the bush. The Blue Helmet medics begin to treat women and children who sneak into the facility in search of health care. Malaria is prevalent in children, as locals report deaths of several infants in the distant bushes.
Members of staff were not found. We were told they are in the bush. We are trying to do operations just on the corridors of the hospital, just to help 1 or 2 clients that are coming through. And of late, so far, malaria has been the commonest.
21-year-old Ginganjo was in the house with his wife when the rebels attacked. They shot him down, smashed his genitals and left him to die. Zambia found him and offered medical assistance. He was immediately evacuated to Bria by MINUSCA for advanced medical treatment. The patrol commander meets the rebels for the 3rd time and tells them to leave the town for civilians to return.
That have fled away into the bush, starving, spending sleepless night in the field, which is not going to allow me to stay here and start smiling at them. No.
The bottom line here is that I do not want this to be here. As long as these are here, the civilians will never come back. So I'm giving them to say, I don't want to see them up to 12 hours. Let them leave. Okay.
They promise to do so after a day, a thing that doesn't come to pass. June 22nd, Colonel Manahingombe meets his men in Wadajari. He moves around the town to assess the security situation himself. His instructions to the troops are very clear.
And if you happen to use force, it must be effective force. Chaps must be hit hard. I say again, if they make a mistake to fire at you, you must hit them hard.
June 23rd, Major Mkuka orders the rebels to leave the town before 12 hours. They arrogantly tell him MINUSCA has no right to remove them out of the town. All forms of peaceful negotiations with the rebels have failed, and locals are losing confidence in MINUSCA.
I want to remind them that let them respect the peace agreement they signed in Khartoum, respect the mandate of UN. And our mandate or my assignment does not allow me to operate alongside of this. So it is with this mandate I ask them to leave. Okay. Yes. Okay. And I'm pleading to see a woman up there. It's raining, is there. It's failing to come in his house. To come back, and you have to leave for good. This is not going to mean well to the UN. It means you have waged war with UN, not with Zambian, no, but with UN. And they have said no negotiations, but you are to leave the houses for this evidence and move.
In the darkest of the night, Zambian prepares to push the rebels out of Wadajare by force. It is June 26. At the break of dawn, Zambian gives the rebels the full dose of their own medicine.
Going. We'll take care of that house. One. Okay. Don't forget. We go. Okay, let's clear the house. Fast, let's say. Fast.
Cover me behind.
Out, fast. Come out.
Back, we get the bodies and the motorbikes so that we put them on the central place.
Alright, sure. This is what, huh?
Yes.
Do we have any casualties to our side?
None else.
Did they put up resistance?
Yes, they had put.
Okay, let's get into the bodies.
Always.
As the guns fall silent, the only two rebels that remain in Wadajare are the dead ones.
Right away.
After 2 days, locals inform MINUSCA Civil Affairs officer that 20 more bodies have been discovered along the Samwanja route.
Okay.
After Zambian ejected the rebels out of Wadajare, the government forces FACA returned to the town. The mayor and the sub-prefect happily came home, and for the first time in 10 days, they slept in their houses. From 27th to 30th June, more civilians returned to their homes. Business in the market was back on track as traders, especially women, began to sell freely.
Wadajare has been attacked on the 17th of June 2022 by the coalition of armed groups, UPC and CPC. But I wanted to remind everyone that the responsibility to protect the civilian population is for the government and the National Defense Forces. And MINUSCA is in to support the government. So the government has deployed the National Army, part of it, in Wandajale. And despite that, the town was attacked. That is how MINUSCA, through the Zambian contingent, moved in and was able to dislodge these armed groups that had taken the population to hostage. But based on MINUSCA's mandate, you have to ensure that when you intervene, you don't just shoot it indiscriminately. You have to make sure that those who were occupying those houses were armed groups and they were not civilians. That's what explained the gap between the day of the attack in Wandajale and then the intervention of the force. Today, I have to clarify here that together with the prefect, I visited Wandajale. Hundreds and hundreds of people came and listened to the prefect and to the Birao MINUSCA head of office, to the force. And the truth is, the situation now in Wandajale is back to normal, thanks to the effective intervention from the Zambat contingent.
I'm celebrating the happiness of Wandajale city. When I came here, it was deserted. There was no life. Women, children, and their colleagues, they fled into the bush. Suffering, 10 days of suffering with mosquito bites, rains, being soaked every day. There was no one, there was no life.
It was so nice to see people around here back to their normal activities because all of them had rushed to the bushes. So after that attack, people are back now. They are normal, living normally now. They are back to their businesses, back to their homes, which makes us feel so proud as peacekeepers.
Civilians were back in their homes, happy for what Zambian had done. But for the Zambian soldier, it was the beginning of spending nights in trenches, in the rains, and in the cold.
Nanguna